Hi, welcome back to the ASM podcast. Again, my host is Martin Allen, and this is Donna Kasha, the founder member. We're going to be doing episode 2 today, which is I'm going to be taking Donna into an ASM and activating her superconsciousness, and we're going to be asking questions around superconsciousness. We've got a series of questions set out now. What we're going to do is to activate our superconsciousness, as we mentioned in episode 1. If someone's ready to first time, it'd be worth going back to episode 1 just to check that out. But we're going to be going into doing an instruction set which drops Donna down into 0 point, and then being able to access superconsciousness and then ask the questions on superconsciousness. So I think what we'll do now is we're going to stop the recording, and then when Donna's reached 0 point, and then we're ready to ask the questions, we will restart doing the recording, and then you'll be able to experience Donna doing answering the questions on superconsciousness. I hope everyone's ready, and look forward to seeing you very, very soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are we ready to ask some questions?
Yes.
Thank you, so Donna. We'd like to ask some questions on superconsciousness. Can you explain what superconsciousness is in the simplest terms, please?
Superconsciousness, in the simplest terms, is a level of consciousness that allows the higher consciousness streams, the higher frequencies stream through the human being. It is an activation or an opening of the heart space. It is an activation of gamma brain waves, and these conditions within and through the body allows the consciousness to be activated through the body, if you like. So it acts like a bridge between form and the higher levels of consciousness.
Thank you. Are we able to move on to the next question?
Yes.
Thank you. How is superconsciousness activated in a human being?
It's a process. There are many factors to answer that actual question. I mean, as mentioned before, we want to really open the heart. And the heart, or the magnetic field of the heart, let's say, is what helps create coherence. The gamma brainwave states are kind of an impulse that helps the electromagnetic impulses move through the entire body system. However, it's important to note that in order to really, really, truly activate full superconsciousness throughout the human body, then the entire body system plays a part in that activation. So there are different levels, I guess, there are different levels of activation of superconsciousness within the body. But at the most basic level, the heart and the brain coherence, and then as the other body systems come online, it amplifies the stability of the system and the coherence that is the bridge.
Okay, thank you. I'd like to ask a few more questions on the gamma wave. What role does gamma brain waves play in assessing superconsciousness?
The gamma brainwave state is activated through the unification of the left and the right hemispheres of the brain working in sync, working as one. Many individuals are not working in this way. So their left and right sides, if you like, are working separately from each other. And this is what creates, I guess, a disconnection from the unified field and being able to really activate through the heart space. So the gamma is when the left and right hemispheres really sync up and begin to work as one. And this then creates the carrier, if you like, that we know as the gamma brainwave that isn't actually isolated to the brain. It works throughout the entire system.
Okay, thank you. Are we able to move on to the next question?
Yes.
Thank you. How does heart-brain coherence support the activation of the superconsciousness?
When the heart is activated and open, we now understand that the heart is the intelligence. It is the part of our being that is timeless. It's not subject to time. However, because we are living in a third dimensional linear reality, it's the brain that makes that experience possible. So when we activate the heart-brain coherence and the brain surrenders to the intelligence of the heart can really guide the experience of the being at a much greater capacity, because it truly is the intelligence. And then we use the processing ability of the brain to help bring the experience into a linear fashion, if you like. So it creates the seamless experience in which we have within this level of creation.
Okay, thank you. Are we able to move on to the next question? Yeah, brilliant. Is 0 point awareness a gateway to the superconsciousness? And if so, how does it work?
I guess you would say 0 point awareness is when we are completely present, when we understand that in complete presence, in complete consciousness, we are then operating outside of the constructs of the linear mind. So it's kind of paradoxical in a sense, because what we're doing is we are operating both simultaneously outside of time and inside of time. And so 0 point is that access outside of time, beyond time, into that infinite space where creation happens in every given moment. And the more present we are, the more we are operating outside of time, therefore the more we can access that infinite potential. And I guess this can be thought of in a way that you might understand. We call it things like flow state. When you're really in that flow state, you're really tapped into the highest potential that is available to you, because in that state, the programming, if you like, the limiting programming of the mind isn't interfering with the process of creation itself.
Okay. So in terms, how does the body experience the 0 point? How would people know that they're in 0 point? How does the body feel it? What does it experience?
Within ASM, so within the method itself, obviously the instruction set is designed to relax the body, so the body sort of surrenders within the process of really anchoring into 0 point. So there is minimal interference, if you like, coming from the different vibrations that are created through the body. To be completely anchored into 0 point and up and fully functioning through the body, kind of on a day-to-day level, if you like, within movement, if you like, through the body, then what this requires is a calm nervous system. So the moment the nervous system goes into some kind of dysregulation, the body system automatically goes into a survival response. And within the survival response, the energy is redirected from the heart. So the heart closes down to an extent to then redirect that energy into survival. So yes, so in other words, if the body is really relaxed, which is why it works under ASM, because the body's relaxed and comfortable, and the instructions are there for the nervous system to just relax and surrender into that process, the real power is when you can do it in every waking moment of your life, and that requires your nervous system to feel safe.
Yeah. Are we okay to move on to the next question?
Yeah.
Thank you. Can you explain the difference between assessing the superconsciousness briefly and fully embodying it?
Yeah. So again, I guess that would be that you have became embodied, so fully conscious of being in the physical body, occupying the physical body completely. So you're not ignoring parts of your body, you're not unaware of parts of your body, you are fully aware of every single cell within your body, because it's in that awareness of the anchoring into every single cell of your body that you are, number one, fully embodied, but number two, that you are very aware of the different sensations that you're experiencing within your physical body. So again, going back to the nervous system, it's a very important aspect of the process. Us learning how to be calm in our nervous system and being embodied enough that when we notice that we are coming into a dysregulation, and we have tools that we can quickly bring ourselves back into a balance, a stability within the nervous system. Does that answer the question?
It does, yeah. And so it kind of brings me on to how can a human stabilize in 0 point in everyday normal life?
It's a process. It's not something that generally happens overnight. This is because not only are we born into a body that has a backlog of programming, if you like, polarized programming, 3D programming weaved into the body on birth, but also the experience of being a human being in the time that we have all experienced has created a lot of polarization. And what I mean by that is consciousness that is, in essence, disconnected from its source. And therefore, a lot of that polarization, because it creates a feeling of disconnect, there is a lot of wounding, feelings of despair, feelings of fear, feelings of grief, the feelings that take us away from that full connection to our source. So therefore, the reason why it becomes a process is because we have to slowly allow ourselves to let go of what we have stored within the body, because it's the only true way of really no longer experiencing these patterns.
Yeah.
So we let go at a pace that's just right for us. And when I say us, I mean each individual that moves through the letting go part of the experience. And the more they let go, the more they naturally come into more connection, because they're no longer experiencing those separated patterns. And the more we no longer experience the separated patterns that have a lot of wounding connected into them, we no longer dysregulate within the system. And so we become more and more stable within what is our natural state of being.
Yeah.
And that is activated in superconsciousness, open heart, gamma brainwave, and everything flowing organically without hitting those blocks.
Yeah. Thank you. We'll be able to move on to the next question.
Yes.
So what determines a human's readiness to access superconsciousness? Is it the nervous system regulation? Is it soul maturity? Or is it something else?
There's not one answer to this question. This is really determined on the individual's soul and the pathway in which they have chosen as they come on the journey of evolution within a human body. For Donna, particularly, she chose the ancestral line, she chose the patterns that she would enter, and she chose the point in time in which she would begin to become more aware of what that meant for her journey of evolution. However, there can be individuals that come in with different purposes. And so it's not one answer fits all. It can be very much, what's the best way to describe it? It can be very much that Donna's came across this idea before of it's like check-in points.
Yeah.
So there was always going to be certain points in Donna's journey where she would be at a certain level. However, how she got there to that point, that's where the kind of the free will comes in. So there's many paths, if you like, that lead to the same destination.
Yeah.
And so, but ultimately she chose these check-in points that she would be here having this realization at this point in time, a navigation point, if you like. However, that may not be the case for every soul that incarnates here. They may not have these activation points or navigation points. They may go at more of a readiness in how the soul, in relation to the body and everything else that's going on through the experience, it may be determined as part of the journey and not predetermined, if that makes sense.
It does, yes, it does. Thank you for the answer there. We're able to move on to the next question.
Yes.
Why can some individuals then only access certain levels of consciousness while others can access higher levels?
Every individual will access the level in which they are ready to access. So when you think about the quantum field of infinite potential, the consciousness that is the human consciousness that is interacting with the infinite field of potential, they are always interacting with the infinite field of potential from the vibrational level in which they currently reside. So in other words, if you think you are just a body, that is the vibrational signal that you are sending into the infinite field.
Yeah.
Therefore, that's what you get back. If you think that you are a body and a soul, that's the vibration that you are sending into the infinite field. That's what you get back. If you realize and realign to the unified field, the law of one, and realize that you are part of everything, then that is what you send in to the infinite field, and that's what you get back. So we're always operating from the place where we are at, and we are always touching the next layer that we're ready for, even before we realize fully that we are touching that layer. So it's there, we just haven't fully realized it yet.
Yeah.
And then this is when the expansion, just continues to unfold. As you realize a new layer, you then begin to unfold into a deeper layer, a wider layer, however you want to put that into words.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Are we okay to move on to the next question? Thank you. What are the most common blocks or distortions that prevent someone from accessing the superconsciousness?
There are many blocks that might prevent someone, but the obvious one is fear. If someone is naturally fearful, then of course, as we know, fear creates coping and defense. Now, the beautiful thing about ASM is it really helps relax the body, and in general, most people really do get that breakthrough and that connection into a higher level of their own awareness. But if someone does have a lot of fear in the body, so therefore the body's not wanting to fully surrender and fully trust the process, there might be an element of them that's just preventing them from really anchoring in. And so again, the more fear we dissolve, the more we naturally have an ability to expand out into what you might call the unknown. Everything. I would say that the unknown is the most feared place, because when it comes to fear, then if we know, or we have the illusion that we think we know, if we stay within a construct, we are safe in that construct, and we don't allow ourselves to move past that because of the fear of what might be at the other side. Yet everything that we could want and need to evolve and expand further is on the other side of that fear, and it's always into the unknown.
Yeah, okay, thank you. In that case, what practices or states most support a human living in superconscious while fully grounded into the body?
I mean, most definitely heart-brain coherence.
Yeah.
The more we can open up our heart, the more we can move our focus from our head and allow that focus to drop into the heart space. And for some people, this could be a process that doesn't take very long to really anchor into. And for others, it can take many, many, many years to, really come out of the analytical mind and allow the intelligence of the heart to lead the way. It's kind of like a surrendering of the mind, if you like. The mind has to surrender into the heart. And so, I'm sure it's not an uncommon thing to have heard that, the mind makes a very poor master. And what that means is that the mind is not supposed to be leading the way. The mind is a tool, not a master. And part of the process is the mind surrendering and accepting that and handing over that control to the heart, and then becoming the tool that works with the heart in the true organic design that it was always meant to be. So by practicing the heart-brain coherence, we are cultivating this surrender of the heart to the intelligence, the brain to the intelligence of the heart. And the more we can practice that, the more we can naturally come into all of the other things that's required, such as more presence, more trust, more following the subtle intuition that each of us have inside of us. And it grows from there.
Yeah, and that gives them the confidence, doesn't it, in the superconsciousness and the connection with that.
Absolutely, yeah. The trust that they need to continue to surrender into the heart.
Yeah. Thank you for that. It's fantastic, a fantastic answer. I wonder if you'd be able to explain the difference in different layers of consciousness. So we're aware of the soul, we're aware of the oversoul, but we've got the monad and the rishi as well, which a lot of people might not be familiar with. So I was wondering if you'd be able to help us understand the differences between those particular four.
Yeah, I mean, I guess when we look at the soul, we understand the soul. The soul, there's more than one soul aspect to each individual, if you like, that is stationed in different timelines. So 12 soul aspects stationed in different times, gaining experience that is then fed back to the oversoul. So then the oversoul, we might look at the oversoul as being 12 times 12. If you want to work out a kind of an expansion, everything becomes much more unified at that level.
Yeah.
And the oversoul, you might look at it as being not just aspects that are stationed in different time, but then aspects that are stationed in different dimensions.
Mm.
You know, maybe different parts of the universe, for example.
Yeah.
And then we go from the oversoul again, 12 times 12 times 12. We're really expanding out into a much, much larger, much, much more, version of the consciousness, if you like, again, that's just spread out over a much more vast level of time plus dimensions.
Mm.
It's like a downstepping process. So each dimensional layer, if you like, hosts a much larger level of the consciousness that we are. And so when we get to this level, which is 3D, which is the slowest vibrational level to be stationed, we call that like a single aspect of the soul. And so as we step up, the increments of the consciousness increase. So like I say, times 12 to times 12 times 12. But when we get all the way up to like the Rishi level of consciousness, this would be thought of as much more of a going into just pure awareness. Now, the thing is, all of these levels of consciousness are all operating simultaneously. One is not operating without the other, if you like, so they're always there.
Yeah.
It's just that from the human evolutionary experience, as the human comes into more and more alignment and more remembering, the human being then realizes that all these different dimensional layers have always been there. So it's more of a realization of it rather than developing something, a remembering of what's always been there. So so it's a downstepping from the higher level, so from pure source all the way down to the level in which we understand as our human consciousness.
Thank you. So, I mean, in terms of a human, what perception changes when they can start connecting from the soul to the oversoul layer? Is there a perception that changes? Or...
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I guess so again, I could say, what I said before, many people are walking around on the planet thinking that they're just a body. They might not even recognize themselves as soul. Now, if they want to recognize themselves as just a body, then that's the experience that they will get. So then when you begin to recognize you're a soul, then that's kind of an expansion in your consciousness, so to speak. Oh, I'm now a soul. Well, what is that? Well, there's an energetic aspect of me that is driving the vehicle, the body. And then you might begin to realize that when you get up to, like, I don't know, an oversoul level, that you're beginning to realize that there's more than one aspect of your soul stationed throughout different times, places, dimensions. And the remembering of this, the realization of this begins to anchor in to this level, and so on and so forth. So it's just, there's always a growing in consciousness, an expansion in consciousness to accessing more and more of what you are as a larger consciousness, the thing that houses all the different dimensional levels that make you as a universe in your own right, if you like.
Yes, it's expanding safely with each level, and having it done safely, basically, as you're progressing
Absolutely,
through.
and having more access.
Yeah. So going back to safety, how can a human safely expand from, say, soul level awareness into oversoul and nomad awareness? How can they safely expand?
There's no rush.
Yeah.
Always ask for the guidance of your highest aspect to lead the way for you. Always ask for the process to be done at a pace that's just right for you. There's no rush. The ego wants to rush. The ego wants to rush until it realizes that in order to get there, it has to surrender itself completely. But, the soul, the oversoul, the consciousness that you are, most of it resides outside of linear time. There's no rush. So it's about going at a pace that's right for the body.
Yeah.
It's really the body. The body's slow. And the higher you go in the dimensional scale of sound frequency, things can move very, very fast. However, the body's always last to catch up. So it's about waiting for the body to be ready for the next layer of letting go.
Maybe that would probably indicate being kind to yourself, giving yourself time to integrate anything that you've gone through healing wise, a good supply of water, things like that. Is that
the right kind of water?
Yeah.
Having the right kind of water, having the right diet is obviously helpful. For many people on the planet right now, it's happening anyway,
naturally,
regardless of what they're doing. But it's not so much whether it's happening or not happening. It's more you can make the experience of what's happening feel easier on the system by giving the system what it needs to support it through some rapid changes. Yeah,
it's fantastic. Thank you very much for answering those questions. Is there anything you'd like to add as like an overall blanket statement, maybe for Superconsciousness at the minute, or ASM?
Yeah, at the moment we're calling it Superconsciousness only because compared to where we've been, it feels like a superconsciousness. You used a metaphor earlier, it's like going from dial-up to super fast broadband speed, but super broadband speed is actually our natural organic consciousness. That is our natural organic way in which we should be operating on this level. So it's more that we've been the downstepping has fell a bit too low. We've been closed down, which is what's given us an experience of being completely separated from the rest of the universe, from the rest of our consciousness, from the higher dimensional aspects that we are, from the unified field. We have experienced this downstepping. Therefore, we have been functioning below organic level of consciousness. So it's a natural state. It's happening anyway. There will come a point in time, not too far in the future, where we won't need things like activate superconscious method to be functioning on this level. This is just a stepping stone to help your body remember what it already knows. Does that make sense?
It does, yes, it does. Yeah. I really appreciate speaking to Donna today. It's been fantastic, some really great answers. Is there anything else before we go to close down the session that you would like to add?
Yeah, I mean, there is just a bit of there's a block that's preventing us from really fully anchoring in. So we're just going to begin to move that block now.
Is that a block within yourself? Or?
It's a block within the body system, within the neck area.
Okay.
That's just preventing a organic flow.
Okay. Superconsciousness able to activate that, get that to dissolve out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
You tell me when you're ready.
Yeah, that's much better. Thanks.
You okay? Brilliant. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
I don't think so.
I really appreciate the Superconsciousness and Oversoul of Donna coming through today. We'd like to close down the session, and we're going to do that gradually. Okay. In a moment, I'm going to count from 1 to 5. On each count up, you're going to feel yourself becoming more and more energized. With each count up, we're going to call all of Donna's consciousness back into this moment, fully and completely, fully back into the body. When I get to 5, you're going to open your eyes and feel so energized and wide awake and ready to get on with the rest of your day. 1, feeling your energy coming back into your physical body. 2, feeling the energy increasing as we now call back all your individual consciousness to this moment. 3, feeling the energy rising as you become more and more anchored into the physical body. 4, feeling the energy rising even more as you begin to feel awake and aware. 5, eyes wide open, fully awake, fully alert, feeling fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just terminated the session, as I call it, termination of the session, closing down the session for Donna. She was in Superconsciousness. It's a method that we do have to bring them out, and it has to be done, otherwise people can stay within there. So we'd like to make sure that everything's safe. Really appreciate everything Donna's done today, going under some fantastic answers. We really will look forward to the next one, which will be called Soul Embodiment. So it'll be a series of questions. I think I might be going down for that one.
Yeah, so, I think we're going to fit you.
Yeah, thanks. I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to it. I think it's going to be fantastic. I just wanted to say thank you for explaining about the Superconsciousness. And for anyone that's first watching this, they've got you can go back to the first episode to understand a little bit about it, and then it will kind of make the second episode easier, then the third one, and then the fourth one, and then so forth and so forth. But I really appreciate Donna for getting taken down today in the ASM.
Yeah, thank you.
It's been a pleasure. And make sure, as I always say, drink plenty of water and always be safe and be kind to yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Yeah. Thank you, guys. Much appreciated. And look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you. I'd like to welcome Donna back from being under with the ASM, and just want to ask a few questions, really.
Yeah, go for it.
First and foremost, just to see how you felt through the process.
Yeah, it's I guess it feels like a process of really, really, really focused awareness. So it's kind of like everything just phases out. Like you're aware that you're in your body because you can feel it's like it feels almost like a light pressure.
Yeah.
Inside the body, of like, like the consciousness is pushing against the boundaries, if you like, that is the body. But besides being aware of your body, it's like you're not aware of anything else apart from your body, apart from the questions. And then, of course, there's no thought process at all. There's no thinking. Like your mouth just opens up and the answers just come out. So, yeah.
Like an I am presence, really.
It's just really, really focused consciousness, like really, really focused. Like it's hard to describe, It's not until you kind of come back out. So when you closed it down that you're sort of like, whoa, and everything just looks bright and a bit HD.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, from my experience, I mean, when I've had ASM, especially if it's done through Zoom, which I've had like a lot of technical difficulties, but it felt, when we was doing this today, and I mean, I had the questions down, but it felt very, very present. We was both locked into what was going on. Absolutely. So it was a privilege to do, and it was great to get some really kind of refined answers on the superconsciousness. Have you got any recollection of the answers?
Obviously I already said to you, it's almost like you're so present in the questions that almost like once it's gone. It's such a deep level of consciousness that you're connected into. So yeah, I do remember some of the answers, but I couldn't give you lots and lots of detail. I'd have to watch back to really recap on the finer details, if you like, of what I said. So yeah,
I mean, it takes me back to the practitioner, what we were doing for the ASM, because one of the questions you would ask is, do you want us to record this, or do you want us to write down the answers? Because actually, when you're in the present, you're asking, but you are so embodied in that consciousness. When you come out, it's hard to recognize anything that might well have happened.
Absolutely.
But it's a fantastic feeling as well, and that's what I would put across to the audience and the viewers, that there's such a clarity when you surrender and let your body let that process happen. There's such a clarity that you feel good, you're good, and you've got the right answers that are there to help you evolve.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's great being a facilitator, but it's also great actually being taken down into the ASM as well.
I feel like
I say down, it's not even down. It's hard to describe it.
It's not
up,
body in it. Down. It's just you're really anchoring into like a whole other dimensional level of yourself that you maybe don't have. I feel like if I can access that, I have that connection.
Yes,
it's there. But because we also are subject to the layers of the lower levels of consciousness, if you like, as I say, they act kind of like filtering systems. So as the information is coming through to be received, by the time it goes through our limited filtering systems, then that's where there's a slight distortion on the answers. Whereas without that distortion, the answers are just like super clear. So it's not going through those layers of like 3D programming, if you like. But when you listen, I know that in the past, when I listen back to the recordings, as soon as you listen, you're like, you remember everything. So you do remember it all. It's just hard to recall it all right now, because I think you're so like in that like present present moment,
which is kind of bringing us on to what will essentially be the next episode, which is episode 3, which will be an episode based on soul embodiment.
What is soul embodiment? And I'm going to guide you into activating your superconsciousness. So again, I think this is what's beautiful, and I think it's worth mentioning that I just love the fact that each and every single one of us is a unique aspect of consciousness, meaning that the answers and the questions will always come through that uniqueness. And so even though we might be, let's say, we might be receiving the same information, our unique expression means that we will describe that in our own unique way, and that's what's really beautiful.
It does. It is beautiful because we are all sovereign beings. Yes, we're all connected. But we still have our own way of expressing our soul's nature. Absolutely. And it's a wonderful experience. I personally really looking forward to it. I've always enjoyed the ASM process, and I enjoy the answers that I get. So for me, it's going to be a wonderful experience, and I hope that gets translated across to the audience that are listening and watching.
I'm looking forward to it.
I can't wait. Like I say, with anything, after any type of ASM, hypnosis, therapy, no matter what's coming, whatever you may well be doing, I think it's always key to just take your time, be kind to yourself, and just let those things come through. Let everything settle, and if you don't think you gain clarity at the time, you definitely gain clarity after, because once it's embodied in you, it's there. It's there.
Absolutely.
So just it's been a great session. Thoroughly enjoyed it, and can't wait to do the next one.
Thank you very much, Martin.
It's been a pleasure, Donna, and I appreciate you too as well.
And just big thanks to anyone that's tuned in and been with us too. Thank you.
Namaste.